Silent Separation by Guman, Chapter 9.1 Constant Temperature. It was natural to wake up late the next morning. Moreover, Yichan was the one who woke her up. She did not know when he woke up, but he looked refreshed and was holding her phone. Your call. Oh, Mushan opened her eyes with difficulties and reached out to take the phone from Yichan's hand. As soon as she answered, Sister Chan's voice swept forcefully through like a typhoon. Zhao Mosheng, do you know what time it is now? We're all waiting for you, only at the airport. Hurry up. If you dare to be slow like a tourist, I will step on your shell. I'll murder you with a hammer and then use your skull as an ornament. Sister Chan threatened her in a distinguished way. At this moment, Mushan was fully awake. She looked at the time on the phone, then quickly jumped up. She scrambled to get dressed and packed her suitcase. Yichan frowned at her disorganization and grabbed her. Can you be more organized? You have fastened your button roundly. Oh, Mushan looked down and watched Yichan's slender fingers slowly help her to redo her coat's button. The embarrassment and shyness that were temporarily replaced by anxiety slowly returned. Mushan's face gradually turned red. Done. Feeling the awkward atmosphere surrounding them, Yichan's mood changed and he immediately dropped his hand. He pushed aside his wild and forceful thoughts and picked up the car keys. Hurry up, get all your things, I'll drive you to the airport. When they arrived at the airport, it was 20 minutes away from boarding. Mushan was in a hurry to get out of the car, but Yichen pulled her back. I'm very late, Mushan suddenly paused. She stared at the extra thing on her ring finger on her left hand. It was a plain and simple platinum ring. The design was simple, not extravagant. Only a small circular diamond followed the delicate line on the ring. It apparently looked elegant and natural. When did you buy this? I don't remember. It has been too long. I found it last night. Oh, Mushan held up her hand and looked foolishly at the ring on her finger. It reflected the bright rays of the light of the winter sun. You have less than 10 minutes, Yichan smiled and reminded her. 10 minutes? Mushan immediately thought of Sister Chan holding a hammer. Dead. Not even saying goodbye, Mushan took her luggage and ran. While running, she couldn't help but look down at the ring on her finger again and again. Endless happiness filled her heart until overflowing. In Hong Kong, the magazine publisher sent a delegation to mainly discuss about the cooperation matters with the major magazine publisher in Hong Kong. Actually, this had nothing to do with Mushan except being fluent in English. She was brought along as an interpreter. Because preparation was made carefully in advance, the negotiation went smoothly. 3 days later, the two sides signed the contract. Finished with work, the group decided to go shopping right away. Why is the cosmetics so cheap here? Oh, recently I paid 1,000 yuan more for this type of necklace back home. Sister Chan looked murderous in the shopping mall. Originally, she was supposed to accommodate Mushan to go shopping, but in the end, she brought more than Mushan. They shopped all day into the night in Hong Kong, a city that does not sleep at night. In the end, everyone was tired, more so than when they were involved in the important negotiation that spanned several days. Back at the hotel, the moment Sister Chan walked into the room, she flopped onto the bed and lay like a corpse. Mushan looked at the phone on the desk, hesitating, not sure if she should call Yichan. If you want to make a call, do it quickly. You can get business expense reimbursement. Mushan was startled and turned around to look at Sister Chan, whose eyes were still closed. Was she talking in her sleep? Picking up the phone, she pressed a number she knew by heart. Very quickly, Yichan answered in a calm voice. Mushan? Mushan was stunned. How did you know it was me? A meeting of minds? Caller ID. Oh, then have you come home from work yet? You're calling our home phone right now. Mushan did not know what else to say. There was also a moment of silence on Yichen's side, and Mushan could feel he was sighing. What have you done in Hong Kong these past few days? Mushan immediately told him about her work. Whenever she did not know what else to say, Yichan would always mention another topic. The call actually lasted for nearly an hour. After hanging up the phone, Mushan's thought was still immersed in that phone call. On the other end, after Yichang hung up the phone, he picked up his pen, but he could not write a word for a long time. She spoke so long without coughing, so she had probably recovered from the cold. Lately, the law firm continuously won case. After a routine weekly meeting, everyone was in a good mood and did not want to leave so soon. They were determined that the three lawyers should treat everyone to a meal. Having Lao Yun, this kind of boss who liked a lively atmosphere, he waved his hand and generously said, all right, you guys can just name the place where you want to go to celebrate. Loi He will pay for everything. As it turns out, he was being generous with other people's money. All through the meeting, Yichan, who did not speak one word, but now asked distinctively, reason? Still need a reason? Lao Yun gave a strange facial expression. Don't tell me you don't know. Since ancient times, the person who gets ripped off has always been the minister who has given the most outstanding service. The larger the contribution, the faster being slandered. That made sense. Yichan understood and nodded to show his willingness to be slandered. Immediately, everyone cheered loudly. They discussed noisily about where to go to celebrate. Although each person had a different opinion, one thing in common was they all wanted to go somewhere expensive. Shinhe listened, shook his head, and said to Yichan, "You have to prepare yourself mentally." Yichan smiled. Actually, it did not matter. The discussion went on for a long time, but the people could not reach a consensus. In the midst of all the chatter, suddenly someone suggests, "What do you guys think about going to Loi He's house?" Everyone in the meeting room immediately stopped talking. They looked at the speaker. It was the new intern Xiaogun. Suddenly becoming the center of attention, Xiaogun, who is a straightforward girl, became embarrassed. I thought going somewhere might not be as fun as going to Loi He's house to eat hot pot. We can cook it ourselves, so it will be more meaningful. Everyone agreed, but did not dare to say what they wanted out loud. At the law firm, except Lao Yun, who was always jovial and cheeky, the other two lawyers were hard to get close to. This was especially so with Loi He, who always separated his personal life from work issues. Except focusing on work at the office, Loi He kept it distant from everyone. But Loi He's house, I really wanted to go there to have a look. That's right. Suddenly Lao Yuan slapped his thigh. Why didn't I think of it? Since your house is large, going there is perfect, as we can eat in comfort. How about it? Let us know what you think. Hearing Lao Yun said that, everyone also looked forward to Yichan's reply. Yichan thought it was funny seeing the hopeful expression in everyone's eyes. Remembering since Mushan would only return tomorrow, it would be good if he had something to do tonight. So he nodded and said, "If you guys won't think that is cheap of me, everyone is welcome." The car moved smoothly. Xiaogun sat in the passenger seat, unable to hide her excitement. Everyone was assigned tasks just now. Other people had to go buy the ingredients for the hot pot, whereas Xiaogun and Loi He would go to his house to prepare things first. Just the two of them. Today must be her lucky day. Sneaking a good look at Loi He's face, he is so handsome. The aura of a successful man made her blush, and her heart was beating rapidly. Although she had worked under Loi He's internship for only several days, Xiaogun already realized this is a man of excellence and integrity. Hence, it was impossible not to feel any attraction to such a man. "Loi He, what sort of person do you like?" Xiaogun inquired curiously. She had an air of the innocence and the boldness of a student. Yichan smiled. What a typical question from a young girl. However, he also found it difficult to answer. "Loi He, don't you know?" Xiaogun asked in disappointment. This meant she would not know where to channel her effort, but she had to persist. Loi He, have you liked anyone before? Xiao Gun wondered how a rational and aloof person like Loi He would act if in love with someone. Would he be more gentle? It was difficult to imagine. Of course, this kind of question was a lot easier to answer. Oh, surprisingly he had, Xiao Gun said enviously. She must be very outstanding. No, exactly the opposite. Yichan shook his head. She is far from excellent. Her grades in school were so-so, only because she always wanted to play. She is absent-minded, so she gives people headaches. Unfortunately, she apparently hasn't improved with age. I don't know what she did with her time. Oh, that did not sound like what she imagined. Then she must be very beautiful. Yichan smiled faintly and said objectively, she looks pretty good, but there are also many people who are more beautiful than her. Then she surely must have a great personality, Xiao Gun said with certainty. Great personality? Where that? Yichan sighed. She's very noisy, so much so that in the first few years, whenever he closed his eyes, he would always hear her voice calling, Yichan, Yichan, Yichan. But when he opens his eyes, there was nobody there. That was when he began to hate her. Xiao Gun was confused. Not outstanding and not beautiful, Loi He's tone implied she is also not a beauty with good personality. Then why did Loi He like her? Why? Yichen also did not understand. Perhaps her continuous chatter filled his empty soul. Perhaps she obviously did not like to study outside of class time, but she would still regularly accommodate him to study. The result was her falling asleep and drooling all over his criminal law books. Perhaps she has not even passed grade 4 English, but she was happy and excited to drag him to celebrate his passing grade 6 English with excellent results. And although she was berated badly by her on that day because it was deemed his fault for not teaching his girlfriend properly, at that time, she miserably raised her hand and vowed to definitely pass grade 4 next time, so he would not be disgraced. Unfortunately, there was no such an opportunity later. Turning to Miss Intern, who was still waiting for his answer, Yichan smiled faintly and looked helplessly. At that time, my vision was not good. Liking someone was simply that. It was not possible to know why. Why was it so noisy outside? Mushan buried her head under the quilt, but she still could not block out the noises flowing in her ears. Could it be the TV? Had Yichen returned home? She turned and woke up, but still feeling dazed. She got down from the bed, opened the bedroom door, and was immediately stunned. Why were there so many people in the living room? The people in the living room, one after the other, started to notice Mushan, who was standing at the doorway of the bedroom. Suddenly, everyone quieted down. The two sides stared at each other. No one said a single thing. Silence filled the entire room. Yichen walked out of the kitchen with bowls and chopsticks in his hand and saw Mushan standing at the doorway of the bedroom. His handsome face looked fabricated. Then he frowned. Go in and put in your slippers. Oh, Mushan looked down on her feet. She came out in a hurry and forgot to put on her slippers. Yichen put the bowls and chopsticks on the table, then nodded politely at everyone who were caught off guard. Excuse me? Everyone nodded in bewilderment, and after the owners of the house disappeared behind the bedroom door, Mintin was the first one to react. Loi He will go so far as to... Xiao Gun and Lao Yun looked at each other. The two of them could not believe their eyes, but the evidence was obviously conclusive. The bedroom, her pajamas. The group simultaneously came to the same conclusion. Live together. Her idol bubble burst. Xiao Gun's heart was broken to pieces. She thought Loi He was an extremely honorable man, but unexpectedly, he also secretly was living with someone else. Ouch, such a big blow. Lao Yun felt like crying. Even Yichan was living with someone, but he was still single. Only Xiao Hun was not surprised like everyone else, and although he did not expect he, Yichan, and Zhao Mosheng to be living together, Xinhe simply said, I've always said before, so long as he, Yichan, runs into Zhao Mosheng, all his principles also cannot be discounted.